How's it going, everybody? The second half of the PlayStation Summer Sale is running from now until August 12th, and there's a ton of absolute bangers on sale for up to 90% off. Every day I put together lists of the top games you can get at a deep discount, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video. If any physical editions exist, you can find them down in the description, but with that out of the way, that's enough yapping from me, so let's get straight into it. For $5, 90% off, Ghost Recon Wildlands is a military shooter set in a massive, dangerous, responsive open world where a merciless drug cartel has taken over in near-future Bolivia. Lead a team of elite soldiers to coordinate raids, pilot drones and helicopters, and drive on and off-road across breathtaking landscapes while customizing your Ghost's weapons, gear, and vehicles. Then team up with up to 3 friends or face off in 4v4 tactical fights in Ghost War. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 55 hours to platinum. For $2, 90% off, Dying Light Essentials Edition is a first-person zombie survival game where you traverse an infected city using parkour, scavenge for supplies, and make tense choices between duty and saving survivors. Fight creatively with weapons, environmental traps, and unique abilities, while the day-night cycle transforms you from hunter to hunted as threats grow deadlier and more unpredictable after sundown. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Planet of Lana is a visually stunning action-adventure where you guide Lana and her loyal companion through a beautifully vibrant but threatened world, striving to restore balance to the planet's harmony. What begins as a journey of survival evolves into a deeply emotional quest across diverse environments, combining clever puzzles, stealthy navigation, and challenging action sequences that test reflexes, wit, and strategic thinking. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, The Evil Within is a pure survival horror experience from Shinji Mikami that throws you into a nightmarish world of grotesque creatures, psychological terror, relentless dread, and shifting, unstable realities. With tightly crafted environments, scarce resources that force careful decision-making, terrifying enemy encounters, and a disturbing story blending action with relentless tension, it delivers a punishing and atmospheric descent into madness. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off, Doom is a fast, brutally satisfying first-person shooter that reimagines the legendary franchise with modern intensity, cinematic polish, and unrelenting speed. Rip and tear through the depths of hell with an arsenal of iconic weapons and a savage melee system that rewards relentless aggression over hiding behind cover, all while an adrenaline-pumping soundtrack keeps you locked in a non-stop rhythm of chaos and destruction. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Far Cry 4 is an open-world first-person shooter that drops you into the stunning yet dangerous region of Herat, ruled by the charismatic and ruthless dictator Pagan Min. Explore a vast landscape filled with enemy outposts, unpredictable wildlife encounters, and dynamic side activities, using a huge arsenal of weapons, vehicles, and animals to approach every situation your own way, whether stealthy or explosively chaotic. It's an 84 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected is an over-the-top open-world action game where the leader of the 3rd Street Saints becomes president and battles an alien warlord inside a reality-bending simulation to save Earth from destruction. Remastered for modern consoles, it features updated visuals, models, environments, and dynamic shadows, bringing Steelport's chaotic, vibrant world to life with sharper detail and cinematic flair. It's an 84 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition is the definitive release of the cult classic FPS, where you play as one of 5 elite hunt operatives infiltrating a cult monastery with ludicrous weapons including dual-wield pistols, the Drunk Missile, the Excalibat, and the Hand of God. 4 campaign modes, expansion packs, never-before-seen beta content, and 60 FPS HD gameplay with classic cheat codes make this the ultimate Rise of the Triad experience. It's a 70 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 70 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off, Quake 2 is an enhanced re-release of id Software's iconic military sci-fi FPS, sending you to the Strogg homeworld for a relentless campaign packed with heavy weapons and industrial atmosphere. Fight through the original story in both classic mission packs, experience the all-new Call of the Machine expansion with 28 fresh levels, and jump into online or local multiplayer with crossplay, 4K support, and restored content. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off. Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition is an open-world action-adventure set between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, where you play as a ranger bound with the Wraith of Celebrimbor, seeking vengeance against the forces of Sauron. This edition includes the Lord of the Hunt and the Bright Lord story expansions, adding new abilities, beast hunts, epic battles, and deeper lore that expands the mythos of Middle-earth. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off. Watch Dogs is an open-world action-adventure where you play as a skilled hacker driven by a violent family tragedy and a relentless quest for justice and revenge. You'll manipulate the city of Chicago's connected infrastructure, tapping into security cameras, controlling traffic lights, and accessing personal data to outsmart enemies, evade law enforcement, and strategically execute heists, stealth missions, and intense combat scenarios. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off. Observation is a sci-fi thriller where you investigate a space station's mysteries through the eyes of the station's artificial intelligence, SAM, as chaos, malfunctions, and hidden dangers unfold around you. You assist Dr. Emma Fisher in uncovering what happened to her crew by controlling cameras, systems, and tools, piecing together intricate clues while navigating a chilling, isolated environment. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 50% off. Retro City Rampage DX is an over-the-top 8-bit open-world action game bringing the chaos and humor of the 80s to a bustling city filled with weapons, power-ups, and hundreds of vehicles to commandeer. This DX version features a full story mode, arcade mode, and an interactive city packed with shops, minigames, over 200 character customizations, and the included prototype ROM City Rampage. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 75% off. Neon Abyss is a roguelike action platformer combining run-and-gun chaos, evolving dungeons, and unlimited item synergies into a fast-paced, replayable adventure full of deadly enemies and surprises. Join the Grim Squad, a task force assembled by Hades, as you infiltrate the Abyss to defeat the new gods, with every death empowering you further, in each run reshaping dungeons, items, bosses, and possible endings. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $4, 85% off. Saints Row the Third Remastered is an over-the-top open-world action game where you lead the 3rd Street Saints in outrageous and completely unpredictable criminal escapades across Steelport. Remastered for PS5, the game features enhanced lighting, textures, and 4K resolution at a smooth 60 FPS, bringing the city's neon-soaked streets and wild environments to life with unprecedented clarity, vibrancy, and detail. It's an 85 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 40 hours to platinum. For $4, 75% off. Octodad, Dadliest Catch is a chaotic adventure about destruction, deception, and fatherhood, where you control Octodad, an octopus masquerading as a human, struggling to perform everyday tasks with unwieldy tentacles. In this sequel, Octodad finds himself caught between his wife's growing mistrust and a disastrous trip to the local aquarium, navigating physics-based challenges and laugh-out-loud comedy. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 75% off. The Lego Movie video game is a lighthearted action-adventure based on the hit animated film, following an unlikely band of resistance heroes as they set out to stop Lord Business's evil plan. Play through story-driven levels, unlock over 90 quirky characters, and use Master Builder abilities, while solving puzzles and battling enemies across imaginative, brick-built worlds inspired directly by the movie's most memorable over-the-top set pieces. It's a 70 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 85% off. Far Cry Primal is an open-world action-adventure set in the Stone Age, where you play as the last survivor of a hunting party fighting to survive in the dangerous wilderness of the land of Oros. Instead of modern weapons, combat focuses on crafting primitive tools, taming fierce predators, and battling rival tribes, while navigating a harsh world ruled by mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and other deadly prehistoric beasts. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off. Bionic Bay is a sci-fi platformer where a scientist uses a unique teleportation device to escape an ancient biomechanical world filled with deadly traps and inventive technology. You'll manipulate gravity, swap positions with objects and enemies, and master a realistic physics system while navigating intricate levels rendered in high-density pixel art with atmospheric sound design, creating a tense, thrilling, and immersive experience. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, The Messenger is a fast-paced, challenging retro action platformer where a young ninja sets out to deliver a sacred scroll after his village is attacked by a relentless demon army threatening his clan's survival. What starts as a straightforward 8-bit adventure quickly evolves into a sprawling, time-traveling epic packed with sharp humor, hidden paths, clever puzzles, and rewarding exploration that keeps you constantly engaged. It's an 86 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Destroy All Humans is a sci-fi action adventure where you play as Cryptosporidium 137, an alien invader harvesting human DNA while terrorizing Earth with destructive tools, absurd humor, and over-the-top sci-fi weaponry. Use a wide range of alien weapons, unleash psychic abilities, and traverse environments by jetpack or UFO, while causing chaos, abducting humans, and battling military forces across varied locations. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 75% off, Sprawl is a hardcore retro shooter set in a cyberpunk megalopolis, letting you bullet-time headshot mercenaries while sprinting and wall jumping through anime-inspired cities as Seven, a disgraced soldier escaping a walled city to overthrow the junta. The campaign spans 12 regions with 7 weapons, including a shotgun jump that launches you over fences, backed by time trials, a horde mode, and a soundtrack that shifts based on how you play. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $4, 75% off, Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition is a vibrant Metroidvania-style action platformer set in a magical world inspired by Mexican culture and folklore, filled with fast-paced combat, clever puzzles, and whimsical charm. Master moves that double as both attacks and traversal, switch between the worlds of the living and the dead, and explore wild locations while facing a variety of foes and challenging bosses. It's an 89 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 70% off, Wall World Complete Edition is a physics-based platformer bundle where players climb a mysterious wall, gather resources, and uncover hidden secrets while crafting powerful upgrades and building a home. The package includes the base game's relaxing exploration and grappling hook mechanics, as well as the Deep Threat DLC adding new biomes, weapons, enemies, and exciting challenges to expand the adventure. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Dishonored Definitive Edition is a stealth action adventure from Arcane Studios, where you play supernatural assassin Corvo Attano, seeking revenge in the plague-ridden city of Dunwall. With flexible combat that blends supernatural abilities, weapons, and gadgets, plus all-included DLC like Dunwall City Trials and story expansions starring Dodd, it offers a complete and highly replayable immersive sim experience. It's an 89 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off, Doom 3 is a critically acclaimed action horror shooter that reimagines the original Doom, plunging you into a demon-infested Mars facility as a lone marine fighting to stop a full-scale invasion from Hell. Navigate dark, claustrophobic corridors, battle terrifying enemies, and balance intense shotgun-driven gunplay with survival horror elements as flickering lights, oppressive sound design, and sudden ambushes keep you on edge. It's an 87 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Wolfenstein The Old Blood is a standalone prequel to the critically acclaimed first-person action-adventure shooter Wolfenstein The New Order, delivering a thrilling, story-driven, and intense combat experience. Spanning 8 chapters and 2 interconnected stories, it features the hallmarks of machine games: high-octane action, immersive storytelling, cinematic set pieces, and brutal first-person combat. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 90% off, Super Mega Baseball 4 delivers over-the-top baseball action with more than 200 fan-favorite legends like Vladimir Guerrero, Johnny Damon, and Jason Giambi joining the roster of Super Mega League All-Stars. Play in arcade-inspired matches with deep gameplay systems, including expanded team traits and 6 new stadiums, while enjoying presentation upgrades with vibrant animations and crystal-clear audio. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 10 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Road 96 is a crazy, beautiful road trip through exciting places and unusual people on a personal journey to freedom, a story-driven adventure set against a backdrop of authoritarian rule. Experience moments of action, exploration, contemplative melancholy, human encounters, and wacky situations, wrapped in a stunning visual style and a soundtrack filled with 90s hits, with 1,000 routes letting each player craft their own unique story. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 1 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, A Juggler's Tale is a puzzle platformer where you guide a marionette through a grim yet enchanting medieval fairy tale world as she flees captivity in search of hard-earned freedom. You'll navigate environments shaped by her puppet strings, solving traversal challenges, slipping past bandits and deadly traps, and pushing through war-torn villages where danger and desperation hang heavy in the air. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $4, 80% off, Lucky's Tale follows a brave fox on a quest to save his friend Piggy from the tentacled Glorp, running, jumping, and climbing through a colorful world of charming characters, boss battles, and secrets in 3D platforming built for VR. This remastered version adds updated lighting, rendering, and audio, refined movement, and diverse levels spanning swamps, ruins, and catacombs through a third-person VR camera with headset tracking for aiming. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Haunted House reimagines the classic Atari adventure as Lynn Graves, niece of treasure hunter Zachary Graves, whose uncle's mansion is overrun with ghouls that snatch her friends, sending her to find the shattered pieces of a magical urn to free them all. Creep, sneak, and dash through procedurally generated room layouts and 3D isometric stealth gameplay, facing a boss guarding each urn shard and unlocking trapped friends as playable characters. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, and there's some broken trophies making the platinum unobtainable. For $4, 60% off, Quake is the legendary dark fantasy first-person shooter from id Software that helped define 3D shooters, blending gothic atmosphere with blisteringly fast combat against grotesque Lovecraftian horrors. This enhanced edition modernizes the classic with 4K support, improved character models, and smoother performance, while preserving the razor-sharp level design, maze-like castles and slipgates, and multiplayer options. It's a 92 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $5, 65% off, Pac Man Championship Edition 2 is a fast-paced arcade maze game that reinvents the classic formula with eye-popping 3D visuals and intense high-score action. Chain together massive ghost trains for maximum point bursts, dash through neon-lit mazes with strategic bumper mechanics and power pellets, and tackle score attack and adventure mode featuring challenging boss battles, fast-fleeing fruit, and remixed rules. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Metro 2033 Redux is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter set in the dangerous tunnels of the Moscow Metro, where survivors struggle against mutant horrors while trying to protect what remains of humanity. You'll navigate claustrophobic stations in desolate surface wastelands, scavenge scarce resources, and engage intense combat as Artyom on a desperate mission to warn the remnants of mankind of a looming threat. It's an 85 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off, A Fisherman's Tale is a mind-bending VR puzzle adventure where you play as Bob, a tiny fisherman puppet navigating realities that twist and fold in on themselves, challenging your perception at every turn. Solve physics-defying puzzles, manipulate objects with your hands, and race to light the lighthouse before a looming storm, all while uncovering a mysterious and unexpectedly emotional story. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $4, 90% off, Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun is a hardcore tactical stealth game set in Edo period Japan, where you control a team of specialists navigating castles, monasteries, and forest camps while avoiding enemies with strategy and planning. What begins as an infiltration mission evolves into a strategy-driven adventure as players coordinate each character's skills, set traps, poison opponents, and adapt to changing scenarios. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $2, 85% off, The King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match returns with even more content, featuring 64 playable characters including Eiji Kisaragi, Kasumi Toto, Geese Howard, Mr. Big, and Wolfgang Krauser, plus EX versions of King, Blue Mary, and Ryuji Yamazaki, and unlockable characters like Orochi Iori and Goenitz. This release adds new stage backgrounds with switchable 2D and 3D styles, gallery modes, voiceovers, and an arranged soundtrack. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For For $5, 75% off. Destroy All Humans 2 is a sci-fi action adventure where you play as the alien Crypto, wreaking havoc on humanity across a Cold War-era open world filled with parody, chaos, and outrageous humor. Use an upgraded arsenal of alien weapons, unleash psychic abilities, and explore large sandbox environments while body-snatching humans, battling secret agents and military forces, and teaming up in co-op modes. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off. Moving Out is a chaotic, physics-based moving simulator where you join the Smooth Moves crew and haul furniture through suburban homes, haunted houses, and all sorts of wonderfully absurd environments. You'll lift, toss, and smash your way past obstacles as you race the clock, using momentum, teamwork, and creative problem-solving to wrangle everything from sofas to fragile appliances across increasingly wild moving jobs. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off. Shadow Man Remastered revives the cult classic horror action adventure with updated visuals, restored content, and expanded gameplay across live side and dead side. Hunt criminals with guns or voodoo powers, solve intricate puzzles, and explore iconic locations like Summer Camp, Salvage Yard, and Asylum Station 2, all while enjoying over 40 cinematic cutscenes, hours of voice acting, and a dark, immersive narrative. It's a 75 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $3, 75% off, Cat Quest is an open-world RPG set in the whimsical world of Felongard, where you play a heroic cat on a quest to rescue your catnapped sister from sinister forces threatening the kingdom. You'll explore a vast overworld filled with colorful characters, engaging stories, and challenging dungeons, while battling enemies, completing side quests, and leveling up your feline hero with new abilities, equipment, and magical powers. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $2, 75% off, Minit is an adventure played in 60-second increments, where you explore the world outside your home to help unusual folk and defeat dangerous foes, all while racing against a curse that ends each day after just 1 minute. Every choice matters as you traverse forests, villages, and mysterious ruins, solving clever puzzles, discovering hidden items, and unlocking shortcuts that make each run feel fresh and rewarding. It's an 80 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off. Astebreed is a high-octane, fast-paced arcade shooter that fuses classic shoot-'em-up gameplay with stunning 3D visuals and Japanese mecha design. Take control of Roy Beckett's powerful mech, unleash precision homing attacks, slash enemies up close with a deadly blade, and navigate waves of swarming foes across vertical, horizontal, and 3D perspectives while experiencing non-stop, cinematic action and intense boss battles. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $5, 50% off. Don't Be Afraid is an adventure horror game where you play as David, an 11-year-old boy kidnapped by a masked psychopath and trapped inside a sprawling, puzzle-filled house hiding countless dark secrets behind its locked doors and walls. Explore terrifying locations, avoid dangerous enemies with unique abilities, and piece together fragmented memories of your abduction as you race toward one of 3 possible endings. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $5, 50% off. 60 Parsecs is a dark comedy sci-fi survival adventure set in the atomic space age, where you have 60 seconds to grab supplies before your space station explodes, and then must keep a crew of woefully unprepared astronauts alive across the cosmos. Make difficult choices, manage soup shortages and other horrors of outer space, and maybe, just maybe, find a new home in this misguided journey full of Cold War paranoia and chrome-plated charm. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off. Doom and Doom 2 is the definitive collection of the genre-defining first-person shooters that pioneered modern FPS design and reshaped action gaming forever. You rip through hordes of demons across campaign missions and deathmatch maps, spanning Doom, Doom 2, TNT Evolution, the Plutonia Experiment, Master Levels, Sigil, and the Legacy of Rust episode created alongside Night Dive and Machine Games. It's an 88 average on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $4, 90% off. Sherlock Holmes The Awakened is a Lovecraftian mystery adventure where players become Sherlock Holmes, investigating disappearances linked to a dark cult worshipping an ancient god. Explore locations from Baker Street to Swiss asylums and Louisiana wetlands, manage encroaching insanity, and unravel the expanded storyline in this remake of the 2008 title with modern graphics and new gameplay mechanics. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Wolfenstein The New Order is an alternate history first-person shooter set in 1960s Europe, where a ruthless regime uses advanced technology to dominate the globe and only super soldier BJ Blazkowicz can rewrite history. With elite combat tactics, an arsenal of advanced weaponry, resistance missions, and battles against massive mechs and unstoppable super soldiers, it delivers an intense campaign of global-scale warfare. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $5, 90% off, the LEGO Ninjago movie video game lets you become a ninja alongside Lloyd, Jay, Kai, and friends to defend Ninjago from the evil Lord Garmadon and his shark army. Master ninja agility by wall running, high jumping, and battling foes across 8 action-packed locations, each with unique challenge dojos, while upgrading combat skills, unlocking secrets, and uncovering hidden collectibles in a vibrant, cinematic LEGO world. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition lets fans fully immerse themselves in epic, large-scale, and visually stunning battles across the galaxy, offering everything from the base game to the complete season pass with 4 expansion packs, exclusive emotes, and bonus content. Play as Rebels or Imperials, wield iconic weapons, and take part in massive multiplayer skirmishes set on legendary planets from the Star Wars universe. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $4, 85% off, new Super Lucky's Tale is a colorful 3D platformer where Lucky the Fox journeys through the magical Book of Ages to stop the sorcerer Jinx and recover its stolen pages. Explore expansive hub worlds, tackle side-scrolling challenge stages, and collect hundreds of hidden items, while using Lucky's jumps, burrowing, and tail swipes to defeat enemies, uncover secrets, and face off against the villainous Kitty Litter family. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Just Cause 3 is an over-the-top open-world action game where you wreak havoc across a Mediterranean island paradise, using wingsuits, grapples, and parachutes to scale buildings, hijack vehicles, and unleash creative destruction. You'll engage in explosive combat with a massive arsenal of weapons, pilot jets, speedboats, and sports cars, and complete dozens of challenges and collectibles while toppling a ruthless dictator. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 100 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Indivisible is a beautifully hand-drawn action RPG platformer that combines stunning animation with unique real-time combat mechanics, set in a vibrant, fantastical world filled with dozens of recruitable characters and rich storytelling. You play as Ajna, a fearless girl whose life is turned upside down when a mysterious power awakens within her after an attack on her home, sending her on a journey across diverse lands to unite allies. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off, Chorus is a space combat shooter that puts you in control of Nara, a pilot seeking to destroy the dark cult that created her, with the sentient starfighter Forsaken at her side. Unlock devastating weapons, mind-bending abilities, and powerful upgrades as you engage in exhilarating zero-G dogfights across sprawling space stations and strange planes of existence, blending frenetic combat with vast cosmic exploration. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $3, 75% off, Detention is a 2D atmospheric horror side-scroller that plunges you into a haunted high school in 1960s Taiwan under strict martial law, where 2 students must survive against malevolent forces. Navigate eerie classrooms and shadow-filled corridors while solving challenging puzzles, carefully avoiding deadly creatures, and uncovering ominous objects that reveal the dark secrets lurking within the campus. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 1 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $4, 75% off, Eiyuden Chronicle Rising is a 2.5D action RPG that blends fast-paced combat and platforming with a heartfelt story about rebuilding a town and the bonds that form along the way in a beautifully crafted, vibrant world. Players venture into the mysterious rune barrows in search of treasure, materials, and ancient secrets, while helping locals recover from a devastating earthquake and rediscover their hope. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $4, 70% off, The Council is an episodic narrative adventure blending choice-driven storytelling, deep character progression, and high-stakes decisions into a tense, intrigue-filled experience. Step into the shoes of a secret society member in 1793, navigating a private island off England's coast where high-profile guests, including Napoleon and George Washington, gather, each hiding secrets and personal agendas that shape the story. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 20 hours to platinum. For $4, 75% off, Jazz Punk Director's Cut is a wildly surreal first-person comedy adventure set in an alternate Cold War reality, filled with corporate espionage, ridiculous spy agencies, and non-stop absurdist humor. Explore bizarre open environments at your own pace using strange spy gadgets, complete wildly offbeat missions for secret agencies, and uncover cleverly hidden jokes scattered throughout its vibrant, cartoon-inspired world. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Shooty Fruity is a wildly entertaining VR multitasking shooter where you work as a sharpshooting shop clerk, scanning and serving produce with one hand while blasting waves of mutant fruit with the other using PlayStation Move. Work through a career of roles including checkout and canteen duty, unlocking a customizable arsenal of guns, explosives, and power-ups to unload into wave after wave of vicious, ripe attackers. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Last Day of June is a cinematic narrative adventure where Carl relives memories and alters past events to prevent the tragic loss of his beloved June. Solve emotional, time-looping puzzles by changing key moments across different perspectives, explore a beautifully stylized world, and experience a heartfelt story driven by visual storytelling, a moving soundtrack, and deeply emotional character moments. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 50% off, Virginia is a single-player, first-person narrative thriller that combines cinematic presentation, investigative storytelling, and atmospheric tension into a short but memorable experience. Play as FBI agent Ann Tarver as she investigates a missing person case in a quiet town filled with secrets, uncovering a story shaped by mystery, moral ambiguity, surreal twists, and a unique, wordless storytelling style inspired by film and television. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $3, 80% off, The Surge is a sci-fi action RPG set in a futuristic megacorporation where technology is turned deadly and survival depends on skill, strategy, and quick thinking, with relentless challenges at every turn. You battle rogue robots, deranged co-workers, and rogue AI in visceral, limb-targeting melee combat, exploiting weaknesses to harvest loot directly from your enemies and craft powerful new weapons and armor. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 45 hours to platinum. For $4, 85% off, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris and Season Pass Pack is an isometric action-adventure that blends fast-paced combat, puzzle-solving, and cooperative exploration in an ancient Egyptian setting with thrilling encounters. The Season Pass adds the Icy Death and Twisted Gears packs, introducing new tombs, enemies, relics, and challenges that expand the adventure with fresh mechanics and replay value. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 25 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $2, 60% off, Doom 64 is a classic first-person shooter focused on ripping through Hell's forces in a darker, more atmospheric continuation of the original Doom formula. You blast through over 30 tightly designed levels packed with relentless enemies, clever level layouts, and labyrinthine secrets, all enhanced by moodier lighting, unsettling sound design, and an oppressive, haunting soundtrack that sets it apart from earlier entries. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $4, 80% off, Cracked is a trailblazing PSVR action-adventure from the creators of Phantom Covert Ops, where a reluctant hero battles an interdimensional army across a remote mountain facility, seamlessly blending gunfights with free skiing, climbing, and zip-lining. Experience innovative one-to-one VR gunplay with grabbable cover, physically lean to master ski slopes, and reach out to cling on for your life in this audacious PS5-enhanced VR adventure. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 50% off, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain is a gothic action-adventure set in a vampire-ruled fantasy world steeped in murder, magic, and revenge, with a brooding tone and oppressive atmosphere. You play as Kain, exploring a vast open world filled with brutal combat, spellcasting, and meaningful moral choices, all driven by an engrossing narrative brought to life through cinema-quality voice acting and atmospheric presentation. It's an 82 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Shakedown Hawaii follows 3 protagonists through a 16-bit open world where the island is up for grabs, building a quote-unquote legitimate corporation by acquiring businesses and shaking down shops for protection money. Explore by foot, car, or boat through arcade challenges as an aging CEO whose retail, taxi, and video businesses were wiped out by online shopping and streaming, forcing him to learn modern business methods to rebuild his empire. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $5, 80% off. Fogs is a puzzle platformer where you control a duo of dogs linked by a stretchy belly, solving inventive challenges across themed worlds while bouncing between single-player and co-op gameplay. Explore Food World with rivers of chocolate and tasty treats, stroll through the cozy sleep world filled with teddy bears and quilts, and romp through the whimsical play world with beaches, arcades, and toy-filled landscapes. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $4, 70% off, Project Warlock is a retro-inspired, fast-paced first-person shooter where you play as a mysterious warlock on a mission to wipe out evil across time and space in a bloody, pixelated rampage. You'll blast through 60 sprawling levels set in diverse environments like icy Antarctic bases and ancient Egyptian ruins, hunting for keys, secrets, and hidden passages while leaving waves of enemies in a gory trail of destruction and chaos. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Metro Last Light Redux is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter set in the tunnels beneath ruined Moscow, where humanity clings to survival in 2034. You'll step into the boots of Artyom, navigate the haunted metro tunnels, battle mutants and hostile factions, and make morally driven choices that shape the fate of the last surviving station cities in a grim, atmospheric survival experience filled with tension and scarce resources. It's an 82 on game rankings, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $3, 80% off, Elysia is a cinematic adventure game that follows a shipwrecked man trapped in the mysterious land of Terraphage, combining swashbuckling exploration and a captivating narrative. Navigate handcrafted environments filled with puzzles and platforming challenges, wield the legendary harpoon to strike and traverse the world, and rescue castaways while uncovering the mysteries of Terraphage. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $2, 85% off, Kona is a survival adventure game set in a remote, snow-covered northern Canadian village in 1970, where players assume the role of Detective Carl Faubert, investigating strange occurrences and dark secrets. Explore a hauntingly desolate environment, collect clues, solve puzzles, and endure harsh blizzards while experiencing a suspenseful story full of eerie encounters, unexpected twists, and tense atmosphere. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Power Slave Exhumed is a Kex engine port of the classic first-person shooter set in ancient Egypt, where a covert operative fights through over 20 levels of alien-occupied Karnak spanning an ancient city and the tomb of Pharaoh Ramses. Explore multi-floor levels with real-time 3D movement, cross bridges, swim through underwater grottos, and arm yourself with weapons from a machete to a flamethrower, M60, and magical cobra staff. It's an 81 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $4, 90% off, One Piece Unlimited World Red Deluxe Edition is an action-adventure spin-off that follows the Straw Hat Pirates through the Island of Promises storyline. You freely explore Transtown, take on exciting side quests from its residents, and battle enemies as Luffy, Zoro, and other crew members, while facing challenging bosses like Rob Lucci and Caesar Clown, with new characters Pato and Red Count designed by Eiichiro Oda. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 70 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off, Everspace is an action-focused single-player space shooter that blends roguelike mechanics with stunning visuals, immersive sound design, and a gripping, non-linear story. Pilot your ship through an ever-changing universe, facing unpredictable hazards, collecting powerful upgrades, and encountering a variety of unique characters, each revealing pieces of a larger narrative puzzle filled with lore and challenging dilemmas. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 45 hours to platinum. For $4, 85% off, 2 Point Campus is a charming simulation management game where you build and run your own university, shaping students' education, happiness, and overall campus experience. You design sprawling grounds with libraries, sports facilities, outdoor flora, and even whimsical arenas, while offering wildly creative courses like night school and gastronomy, balancing staff, resources, and student needs with playful strategic management. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $3, 85% off. Unrailed is a chaotic multiplayer railroad game where you team up with friends locally or online to build train tracks across endless procedurally generated worlds while keeping your train from derailing. Master dynamic environments, upgrade wagons, navigate distinct biomes, and cooperate or compete in modes like Endless, Quick, and Versus, reacting to changing weather, day-night cycles, and shifting terrain with charming blocky visuals. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 60 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off. Battle Chef Brigade Deluxe is a beautifully animated action RPG and puzzle hybrid set in Victusia, where aspiring chefs Mina and Thrash compete in a high-stakes culinary tournament. Hunt monsters with flashy combo-based combat to gather fresh ingredients, then cook them in fast-paced Match 3 style kitchen battles with strategic ingredient combos, and impress demanding judges before the clock runs out. It's an 83 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 15 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $5, 75% off. The Elder Scrolls Online bundles the base game with a Morrowind expansion, plus the Imperial City, Orsinium, Thieves Guild, and Dark Brotherhood adventures, offering a living world for solo and multiplayer exploration. Explore Tamriel's vast lands, battle fearsome Daedric foes, and engage in PvP with other players while uncovering rich stories, completing challenging quests, and mastering crafting and combat across diverse regions. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 9 out of 10, and about 600 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off. Cursed to Golf twists golf into a roguelike where you're stuck in golf purgatory, forced to keep swinging until you clear its courses. Miss the par count and you're sent back to the start, so lean on ace cards for powers like U-turns and rocket balls to survive spikes, fans, teleporters, and TNT crates across over 70 handcrafted holes spanning 4 biomes with roguelike progression, leaderboard competition, and a quirky cast of characters. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off. Gunlord X is a retro-inspired 2D action platformer featuring stunning pixel art, 11 open-world stages packed with secrets, and huge boss battles as you blast through giant landscapes and explore caverns to a pumping soundtrack. This definitive version includes tons of new features and updates, with fully customizable controls and beautiful parallax scrolling, bringing this beloved classic pixel art masterpiece to life. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 5 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off. Cake Bash is a fast, sugary party brawler where adorable cakes smack, shove, and splatter each other in bakery-themed arenas to prove who's the tastiest treat around. Tackle chaotic challenges like piling on candy and tossing fruit into pies while dodging falling cutlery and hungry birds, then enjoy competitive modes, goofy minigames, and the light progression of the Get Tasty campaign for a charming party experience. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 4 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off. Aspire 1 VR Operative is a definitive VR stealth experience that casts you as a drone operator of the future, remote operating the Aspire Model 1 from the control theater. Move freely through virtual environments with full comfort and no motion sickness while relying on gadgets like tranquilizer pistols and voice commands to sneak, shoot, or fight enemies who react to sight, sound, and movement across a complete single-player story. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, and there's a broken trophy making the platinum unobtainable. For $4, 70% off. The Deadly Tower of Monsters is a campy B-movie action game where Dick Starspeed crash lands on Gravoria and must fight through dinosaurs, giant ants, and costumed stuntmen to climb the Deadly Tower. Armed with ray guns, crystal swords, and laser whips, you'll play through cheesy sci-fi exploits alongside Scarlet Nova and Robot, complete with stop-motion effects, elaborate costumes, and a laugh-a-minute director's commentary throughout. It's a 71 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $3, 65% off. Another World 20th Anniversary Edition is a platform action-adventure where young scientist Lester is hurled through time and space after a nuclear experiment goes wrong and is forced to fight for survival on a dangerous alien world. You solve puzzles, avoid hazards, and explore alien environments, while switching between original and full HD graphics and choosing from multiple soundtrack options. It's an 81 on Game Rankings, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $3, 70% off. Race the Sun is a fast-paced arcade racer where you pilot a solar-powered ship racing to outrun the setting sun before your onboard energy runs out completely. Dodge procedurally generated hazards at breakneck speed, catching boost pickups to delay the sunset while completing objectives to unlock upgrades, customizing your ship with attachments, and using the built-in level editor to build your own endless worlds. It's a 79 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $2, 90% off, Relicta is a first-person physics-based puzzle game where you manipulate gravity and magnetism to uncover the secrets of Chandra Base, a derelict lunar facility full of hazards, hidden areas, and anomalies. Step into the role of a stranded physicist, using problem-solving to navigate complex environments, solve challenging puzzles, and uncover truths that could save your child's life while potentially altering humanity's future. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 30 hours to platinum. For $2, 90% off, Minit of Islands is a narrative puzzle platformer where you explore strange islands and dark labyrinths below, guiding young mechanic Mo through handcrafted environments to repair a world on the brink of collapse. You wield the Omni Switch to solve environmental puzzles, navigate platforming challenges, and overcome the secrets of the island's hidden machines while restoring ancient devices across the archipelago. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 75% off, Flipping Death has Penny waking up after a mysterious death to find herself filling in his attempt for Death himself, gaining the power to flip between the worlds of the living and the dead. Leap between platforms and solve clever puzzles to help the dead rest in peace by possessing the living and controlling their limbs and minds, exploring a rich, colorful pop-up book world to unravel the mystery of her own untimely demise. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $4, 70% off, The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker is a Lovecraftian FMV murder mystery where you play as a psychiatrist treating the unusual patients of a recently deceased doctor while trying to uncover his killer. Type your own questions or choose from suggested prompts across over 1,600 HD video responses, with a randomly generated murderer each playthrough, multiple endings, and choices that determine the fate of your patients and yourself. It's a 73 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off, Infliction Extended Cut is a psychological horror experience set in a haunted suburban home where you uncover the tragic story of a broken family while being stalked by a relentless supernatural presence. Explore a shifting house, piece together clues through notes and recordings, and evade a persistent enemy while solving environmental puzzles, managing light and darkness, and surviving a deeply unsettling atmosphere. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 2 out of 10, and about 5 hours to platinum. For $4, 65% off, Sheepo is a quirky Metroidvania starring a shape-shifting sheep thing tasked with traversing an uncharted planet to collect samples of every living species for an intergalactic species database. Find each creature's heavily guarded egg to gain the ability to transform, then dig, fly, or teleport through interconnected landscapes, uncovering hidden shrines and old ruins with pure platforming and exploration instead of combat. It's a 75 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. For $5, 50% off, Possessors is a fast-paced action platformer where Luca and her less-than-cooperative counterpart Rem explore a quarantined megacity ripped apart by an interdimensional catastrophe, uncovering the truth behind the disaster. Combat blends ground and air attacks, combos, and juggles across tense boss encounters, with weapons and upgrades gradually unlocking previously inaccessible areas of a haunting, secret-filled world. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 25 hours to platinum. For $4, 70% off, Deadcraft is a new twist on zombie survival action where half-zombie Reed must survive a virus-ravaged world by fighting hordes of undead with an axe, weed whacker, or anything he can grab. Collect and plant enemy corpses to grow your own zombie workers, scavenge materials to craft weapons and tools, and unleash Reed's half-zombie powers on human and undead threats alike while earning your living or simply taking what you want by force. It's a 72 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 35 hours to platinum. For $4, 80% off, Tempest 4000 is a visually stunning, action-packed tube shooter based on the classic arcade hit Tempest, putting you in control of the Claw, a spacecraft equipped to destroy deadly creatures with rapid-fire shots on vibrant geometric prisms. Featuring fantastical graphical environments, 100 levels, and 3 game modes, you must eliminate all enemies as fast as possible to survive and compete for the highest score on the leaderboards. It's a 77 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 7 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $2, 90% off. Book of Demons is a hack-and-slash roguelite set in Paperverse, a world existing entirely inside a pop-up book, where you fight to save the world from ultimate devilry in a dark tale that serves as both tribute and parody of classics like Diablo. Choose from multiple character classes, collect powerful spell cards, and battle through procedurally generated dungeons filled with demons as you descend deeper beneath a cursed cathedral. It's a 76 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 50 hours to platinum. For $4, 60% off, Kero Blaster casts you as a bipedal frog employed by Cat and Frog Incorporated, tasked with clearing its teleporters of strange black monsters after they all go haywire at once across the whole company. Run and gun through a series of linear stages filled with dozens of enemies, earning coins to buy weapon upgrades and health boosts at shops between levels as your character grows stronger the further you push. It's a 74 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 8 out of 10, and about 15 hours to 100%, no platinum for this one. For $4, 50% off, Freedom Finger is a music-driven side-scrolling shooter where you blast through 40 levels of chaotic cartoon action in a satirical, over-the-top sci-fi adventure. Shoot through waves of enemies, sync attacks to a dynamic soundtrack, and adapt to varied difficulty modes while experiencing a fully voiced story, battling bizarre enemies, unlocking new abilities, and enjoying a diverse, licensed, and original music lineup. It's a 78 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 6 out of 10, and about 15 hours to platinum. For $3, 70% off, Within the Blade casts you as a ninja exploring feudal Japan in 1560 AD, blending stealth, platforming, and RPG elements to save the realm from a massive civil war. Craft over 200 recipes worth of weapons like shurikens, poisons, and grenades alongside your ninjato and kasurigama, then battle 10 powerful bosses and varied enemies requiring different tactics as you fight to assassinate the warlord threatening medieval Japan. It's a 70 on OpenCritic, trophy difficulty around 3 out of 10, and about 10 hours to platinum. Alright, that's it for today's list, everybody. If you've played any of these already, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insights help others find great games too, it's not just mine. As always, I want to thank all my channel members for their generous support, but to all you out there who watch, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff as well, thank you. You're the reason I'm still having fun making all these videos every day, and I'm genuinely grateful for each and every one of you out there. If you can spare $1 a month, you get early access to all my videos, and it helps me out more than you know. But I know times are tough out there, so all I do ask is, if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with any new sale stuff that I put out, leave a like, and comment down below if you've got any of these platinums or plan on going for any of them.